What's going on, everyone? So Los Angeles Lakers are incredibly shorthanded, especially on the defensive side of things. You're talking Jared Vanderbilt, Cam Reddish, Gabe Vincent, Max Christie. All those guys are out, basically all of your defensive guys. And that's a real issue. That's a real problem. We did pick up Spencer Dinwiddie. That is huge, right? A guy that can play both sides of the basketball. He hasn't been so much this year, but I do expect him to kind of turn it around and get closer to what he was last season as opposed to this season. He's kind of just gave up and quit on the Brooklyn Nets. So hopefully he gets back to form. But regardless, even if Spencer Dinwiddie is fantastic, we need our defensive guys. So what is going on in the world of our players and our defenders? So Jared Vanderbilt, about a week or so ago, we got good news that 3 to 4 weeks and he will be reevaluated. Now, that is just the reevaluation. That doesn't necessarily mean he'll be back in 3 to 4 weeks. It is still very much on the table that Jared Vanderbilt will miss the entirety of the season. Hopefully he's back at least a couple games before the postseason, so that way he at least can get his legs under him. We saw how long it took him to kind of get back in a rhythm, which is something I talked about because, again, yes, he's not this great offensive player, but he is an elite level, one of the best on-ball defenders in the entire league. And with that, there are still things that go into that. It's not as simple as just go on the court and move your feet. No, there's timing, there's rhythm, there's an understanding of plays and situations and the player that you're facing. And, having all those tools at your disposal, it takes time to kind of get your game legs under you. And there's no replication of that. You can scrimmage, you could do whatever. He could guard LeBron 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're still not going to replicate actually playing a guy like LeBron in a game. So there's a lot that goes into that. But hopefully, especially Jared Vanderbilt, at some point, he returns sooner rather than later. Again, we have no real return date. We probably aren't going to. My guess, again, just my guess is that by the time we get to that 3-4 week mark, Jared Vanderbilt will get, we'll reevaluate him again in another week or two. Also, I would imagine that the Lakers are going to take their time in him returning. He just signed a new contract. It's not just about this season. It's about the future, right? He's a piece that the Lakers have planned as a future piece. So they're not going to want to rush him back. And now he's out for not only this season, but maybe the entirety of next season. So personally, I would expect him out more than than you would think otherwise. To me, when it comes to Jared Vanderbilt, expect him to miss the entirety of the season. And then if he comes back sooner, great. It's my thoughts on that regard. Now, Gabe Vincent. There's a lot of talk that Gabe Vincent is on schedule and he is supposed to return early to mid-March. That would be great because March is brutal for the Lakers. The Lakers have one of the toughest schedules I think I have ever seen in the month of March. It is rough. And to get a guy like Gabe Vincent back, who is a 3-and-D style guard, could defend multiple positions, be a point of attack guy, he was really rough in the 5 games we've seen him in this year. And I'm sure there's going to be a little time for him to kind of get back into the swing of things, get back into rhythm. A lot of the same reasons that I mentioned with Jared Vanderbilt. Can't replicate in-game and simulate that, right? But here's the thing. We also got a recent report that there's not really a answer that he's going to be back. There's not a confirmation. It's kind of a thought. And that they still believe that Gabe Vincent could end up missing another month or if not more. Hopefully that's not the case, right? It would be really nice to start getting guys back. It'd be really nice, especially our defensive guys. Our offense has been clicking. Our offense has been moving. Defense still isn't there. We've had some solid defensive games, but you look at the Pelicans game that we just played, and yes, our offense was spectacular in that game. We looked like one of the best offensive teams in the league. It was man, here we go, let's get it. But our defense gave up 122 points. It's not good. Right? We can't be giving up 122 points because we're probably not going to score 139 a game. Right? So we need to start getting our defense guys. Hopefully Gabe Vincent's back even mid-March, right? Even if he's not back early March, even mid-March, just to where he can start getting his legs under him and we can inch closer to the postseason, start getting everybody back, everybody healthy, and then make that postseason push and get into the playoffs. And like I've said, I will take my chances with anybody. So hopefully the original report that Gabe Vincent is on track to be back in early to mid-March, hopefully that's true. But again, just like I said with Jared Vanderbilt, got to imagine the Lakers are going to take their time. They're not going to want to bring this guy back, another piece that's around for another 2 seasons after this year. They're not going to want to go bring him in, and then he ends up missing this season or next season. Right? He probably should have gotten the surgery to begin with. He probably would already be back and playing. Nonetheless, he tried to go the non-surgery route, and now he had to have the surgery. So you got to kind of live with it, right? Now you're in this position. It sucks, but it is what it is. Cam Reddish, though. Cam Reddish is basically day-to-day. He's already been given the green light to start ramping up. He could be back for the Detroit game. Now, that would be huge for the Lakers because he has been our best perimeter defender all season. Jared Vanderbilt's our best perimeter defender, and he was just starting to get back into being Jared Vanderbilt. But outside of Jared Vanderbilt, Cam Reddish has been spectacular in that regard. His athleticism, his size, his versatility. Offensively, right before he went down, he was really starting to come around, or looked like he was starting to come around and come into his own on the offensive side. He was taking care of the basketball better, putting it on the dribble, putting it on the floor, and even his 3-point shot was falling with some regularity. Again, not elite, not great, but enough to be respectable, enough to actually make an impact on the offensive side rather than just basically being solely out there for defensive purposes. Now, we just need bodies and defensive guys. And Cam Reddish being a guy that can defend essentially 1 through 5 on most nights, right? Obviously you don't want to throw him on like a Jokic or anything like that, but like a team like Golden State, you could throw him on Draymond in a spot and allow him to use his size, his strength, and athleticism. He has been more than what his contract's worth this season. He's been very good for the Lakers on the defense side of things. So the fact that he is basically right around the corner for a return, that's huge. Also, with all these guys, what's good is we're about to have a lot of rest. We're about to have a lot of time off because you have this back-to-back with the Pistons and the Jazz. And right now you have basically 3 days in between the previous game against the Pelicans and then that game against the Detroit Pistons on Tuesday. So that gives us some time. That's why I'm pretty confident that Cam Reddish comes back for that Piston game. If not the Piston game, I could see him be back for the Jazz game. I don't necessarily think they're going to bring him back and immediately throw him into a back-to-back. So I could see him missing one of the games. My guess is the Laker game against the Pistons in LA, and you probably don't need Cam Reddish for the Pistons. So I could see the Lakers maybe having him sit out for the Piston game and then having him return when they go to Utah for that Utah game. I just think he'd be more needed, more valuable in that game, in that matchup. And then luckily, Lakers don't play again till the 22nd. So they have basically 8 days off in between. So that is good because that'll give guys like Cam Reddish time to rest, time to recoup, right? Doesn't have to go and just all of a sudden play a string of games. Other guys that are just dealing with little nagging injuries and stuff like that, give those guys time to rest, time to kind of get their legs under them. So that's really good in that regard. And then the last person I want to talk about is Max Christie. So Max Christie is kind of day-to-day as well, it appears. It's very possible he comes back for that Detroit. There was even talks about him coming back for the Pelicans game, but he obviously ended up sitting out. Max Christie would be great to come in. Couple things, though, is when everybody's fully healthy, does Max Christie even play now that they have Spencer Dinwiddie? Seriously, because where does he slot in? You're not playing him over D'Lo Reeves Dinwiddie, and you're not playing him over Gabe Vincent. So Max Christie very likely might not even play at all. It would be nice to have him back right now momentarily until we start getting everybody back. But I wouldn't really expect him to get many minutes now with Spencer Dinwiddie, just because I think that Darvin Ham's going to go with Dinwiddie. It's kind of why I wanted to leave Christie at the end of the list. Now, momentarily, I could see him maybe still getting some minutes, right? Even at like the 3, just because of his athleticism, because of his size. Look, and Max Christie, look, I love Max Christie and his defense. I have said this before. Max Christie might be our second best perimeter defender next to Jared Vanderbilt. He just doesn't have the discipline yet, right? Max Christie, you see him gamble sometimes. You know, he gets beat off the dribble sometimes. Pause. And it just that because that's his immaturity, right? That's him being a 20-year-old kid, which is fine, right? That's him needing to learn the understanding of like, hey, you gotta, come at these guys at this angle or that angle, right? Or, understanding the individual players, right? So most of the great defenders in the history of this league, they are a student of the sport and the guy that they have to defend. They're watching tape. They're learning the ins and outs about this guy. Where does he like to go? Is he left? Does he like to go left? Does he like to go right? Can he finish left? Can he finish right? Right? Like those kind of things. So once I believe Max Christie is going to be an incredible two-way player in this league at some point. I think he's sooner or later going to fall out of the rotation when everyone comes back and healthy, which I'm okay with again. Like, who are you playing him over? But, yeah, so hopefully we start getting these guys back. It'd be nice to get Christie and Reddish back for that Detroit or Utah game. It'd be huge to get those two back because, again, it's just bodies, defenders, right? You can kind of start cutting back down on minutes because that's the thing. A lot of guys have played a lot of minutes that they shouldn't have to play. And a lot of that has been because of injuries. So hopefully we get guys back, all of our defensive guys. It just also sucks that it's literally all of our defensive guys, all of them. So hopefully we can get them back. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Again, I just wanted to I get asked this a lot. Hey, what's going on with this guy? What's going on with that guy? So I figured why not kind of like give a little update, even though it's kind of not like a huge update that people I'm sure want, but it's still something that I think is important. It's significant. But anyway, let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Now subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.